what I am.
Wow, I didn't hear any thunder, but out of your fingers, was that like sparkles?
Today we're talking about the sparkly boy.
My good pal.
And the hair extended.
Hair extended.
Hair extended Kristen Stewart.
And the hair extended Jacob.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they both have a lot of hair.
So this is the first of a series of videos that we're going to be doing. A series. This is the first series we're doing. We decided Twilight, the first Twilight, is worthy of its own video.
Which is a fact. It is.
It's worthy of its own video. So we rewatched it.
We did.
What'd you think of Twilight?
I loved it just as much as I did when I was a teenager.
Movie came out in 2008.
2008. How old were you in 2008?
I was in 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
Or I would have been a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freshman in high school. So
I would have been
14.
a junior in high school.
Yeah, this movie has aesthetic for sure.
Oh,
and
all the aesthetic.
That's it.
How dare you?
It's honestly really bad. But charming?
It has all the charm you could ever want, which makes it the best movie ever. It is one of those movies that you can watch at any time in your life just because of the nostalgia. Did I say that word right?
Nostalgia?
Nostalgia. I can watch it anytime, I think, because of all of that. The music, the imagery, the acting, wigs, the makeup. It's just like...
It truly is sublime.
It is.
It starts
sublime.
It starts with our girl... What's her name in the movie?
Bella.
Oh, Bella. Mm-hmm. Bella. But it starts with our girl, Bella. Uh-huh. In Arizona, I guess?
In Arizona, but
it signifies that by her holding a cactus.
Yeah. And there are cactuses behind her.
That's true. Desert.
Yeah. It's very pretty for Arizona.
And they never really explain why, because her mom lives in Arizona, her dad lives in Washington, Oregon, something. And they never really explain why she's moving from...
Yeah, I think that's explained in the book, though.
Is it?
I think.
Is it?
Maybe not.
Is it? So then she ends up in Oregon, Washington.
Forks.
Is it Oregon or Washington?
Forks, Washington.
Yeah. So she ends up in Washington. Mm-hmm. And this is when the chaos ensues.
She ends up with her dad, who is the most stable out of everyone in this movie.
Because that is the thing about this movie. Well, no. Because her friends...
Oh, that's true. Her friends are pretty stable also.
She makes so many friends so quickly.
Right away. I gotta say, those friends, like, they try to include her right away. They're, like, so funny and nice and not problematic at all.
Yeah, they're just, like, great friends.
Yeah.
And, like... just like really good high school friends. They try to involve her. What's her name? Anna Kendrick is one of the friends.
She's the best.
This is before Anna Kendrick was Anna Kendrick. She kind of popped right after this movie. So it has Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick is one of the friends. She's sort of the, let me explain to you everything as a plot device. That is her. Yeah. That is her in a nutshell. She is there.
She nails that role.
She is there to explain what the is going on.
But also, what is going on?
Yeah, she's like literally there's a scene where they're in the cafeteria. And for some reason, that cafeteria is just gray. It's so dark in there.
Everything is gray. That's the purpose. Like, the whole thing in this movie is gray.
Yeah, it's so dark. And like, it's like, dude, turn the lights on.
That's part of the aesthetic in this movie, though.
Yeah.
This is the gray, like, gloom feel.
And they're like, and she's explaining who everyone is, Anna Kendrick is, and then these weird people walk in, and Bella's like, "But who's that?" Oh. And she's like, oh yeah, those are the Cullens. She has like all the inside scoops on everybody somehow.
She's the person you would want to be friends with.
Yeah, she's like, that's the Cullens. Yeah. The Cullens go way back. You know, they've been here for centuries. You know, they just moved back recently. There's even a point in the movie where, you know, it's daylight and, you know, the vampires can't go out during like sunlight. And that's why they live in Washington, because it's so cloudy there. But it was really sunny one of the days. And she's like, how come the Cullens aren't here? And Anna Kendrick's like, oh yeah, the Cullens likes to take them out on beachfront vacations when it's sunny. And it's like, how the f- do you know that? How do you know that?
Because she's Anna Kendrick.
Back to the cafeteria scene. It like Edward like sees Bella and goes.
Every time he sees her, he does that. Is that also when he like trips and like catches the apple like in his hand like this, and it's like the book cover like so forced.
My favorite though is when they're in a classroom and it's the first time they really interact. She walks in and the fan like blows the wind at him. And he's
it is way too much.
And then they're like, you guys are going to be partners. Like, they have to sit next to each other. And he's so awkward.
It is the most awkward scene and interaction between two people in anything I've ever seen.
It's wonderful.
It's so awkward. If that happened to me, I would literally go home and cry. If somebody was like turned away from me and like I smelt bad or something.
And then he ends up just running.
Exactly. It's so uncomfortable.
I actually forgot that I didn't actually know they were rolling when we were doing this scene.
Get out of here.
And then, like, they're in the parking lot, and some dude, for some reason, just comes speeding around the corner, just for plot device, just cuz. And Edward, like, stops the car because he's a Superman guy.
Obviously.
And then that raises the question, why aren't they superheroes?
The other question I have is, why the hell are they in high school? Why wouldn't they just enroll in college and just you can completely disappear in college. Like, nobody would question that you've been there for years and years and years.
Or why even?
Or, yeah, you wouldn't even need to be in anything.
Because, like, Carlisle's a doctor.
They're not, like, super young that they would need to be in high school. I feel like if I was a vampire, I would just hide better. Like, why a small town, first of all? That is stupid. Why would you do that?
Well, because it's cloudy.
Right by the werewolves. Why would you do that? That seems stupid.
Because they have an agreement. They say
with the werewolves.
Yeah, they said that, like, remember?
Yeah, they have like the treaty that they can't like pass the thing, but then like go find somewhere else.
Because Jacob shows up later in the movie, right? And like so much later in the movie, like you forget this kid's even in the movie. You're like, who is this kid? We know who he is because
he's Jacob.
Yeah, he's Jacob and like Team Edward, Team Jacob. Really, he's in the movie to be like, yeah, he's gonna be in the next one. He's gonna be
in the next one.
But like he shows up and he's like, we have a treaty with the Cullens. He's like, it's stupid, right? It's stupid, right? Because he doesn't know yet. Oh yeah, and then there's like a really weird scene where, because like now like Bella and Edward have like, it doesn't really make sense just because like they sit next to each other in class and he saved her.
And now they love each other.
There's a weird scene where they like see each other and they like look at each other. She just starts walking up a hill and he just follows her.
Yeah.
Like, and they just go into the forest.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, he's like, you know why I can't talk to you? Because I'm a vampire. You know why I can't go in the sun? Because I'm sparkly. And it's just so weird. And then she's like, it's fine, I trust you. And like they've never really talked.
They've never interacted. And yeah. It's a perfect example of a very toxic relationship.
And he's like, I want to suck your blood more than anyone. And she goes, I trust you. And he's like, you shouldn't. And she's like, but I do. You won't hurt me. And it's like, why do you think he won't hurt you?
Because he's a vampire and he used his vampireness on her.
And then he straight up goes, well, I'm faster than you, and then like runs really fast. He's like, I'm stronger than you. Pulls a thing out of the.
That is the best scene.
He's like, I'm sparkly too. And she's like, oh yeah. and then the best part is he goes, so the lion fell in love with the lamb.
Yeah, which is like such an awful, like, I don't even know. That is not the ideal that you want to live up to.
Oh, but before that, in the classroom, when they're in the classroom again, and they're like really awkwardly like holding the
through the whole movie, they are like awkwardly holding things.
Yeah,
like they can't like fully like touch the things. They're just like barely touching it.
Yeah, it's so weird. What's it? Okay, so from another book, we got this Harry Potter wand, right? You would normally just like pick it up like normal. They
like how there's just like an easy to get Harry Potter wand.
They would like hold it like this, like that. They're like, here, have this. It's just like so weird, dude. So weird. And then he just like shows up in her room one night, and she's like in her underwear.
But he had been showing up in her room like regularly and watching her sleep, and she'd wake up and see him standing there watching her sleep.
And he says that.
Yes.
I like watching you sleep. And she's like, oh, I like that.
But it's such a good movie.
But it's like, if
you can ignore the toxic relationship, the really bad messaging that it's giving to young people, if you could just ignore all of that, it's a great movie.
What I will give it is the soundtrack.
Soundtrack
killer.
Is the best.
It's stellar. We got Paramore.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Paramore.
The love of my life is Paramore.
You got Muse, right?
You got Muse. Don't want to get DMCA.
That was nice.
And then that one really good Iron and Wine song. Remember that
Which one?
That's the one that plays at the end when they're dancing.
Oh, yeah. The scene that is just like the scene from Casper Meets Wendy.
Yeah.
It's totally that scene.
Yeah.
Well, the wigs. We got to talk about the wigs.
Yeah.
Because the wigs are really bad. Well, okay. In this movie, they're not as bad as they get in the other movies. In this movie, she's just got like clips in, and you can see the clips in her hair throughout the movie. And it's like different colors than her hair. It looks really bad.
I'd say the standout wig is Jacob's.
Jacob's, yes.
Yeah. Taylor Lautner. His wig.
His wig is on point. I think the one that looks the most like a vampire in this movie is Carlisle.
Yeah.
I believe him as a vampire.
They all look pretty vampire-ish, though. They're all kind of pale and...
Well, she looks kind of vampire-ish, too.
Yeah, and it's just that, like, gray color scale. Oh, we're forgetting, like, the whole plot of the movie, though.
What even is the plot?
So, like, the plot doesn't really start until the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
It kind of is there. Really, the plot of the movie is, Edward and Bella getting together. I almost said Edward and Jacob. Could you imagine?
That would be a great movie.
Could you imagine all of this like tension, this love triangle,
and all pointed towards
Edward
that?
and Jacob end up together? Oh my god, that would have been so good.
That's so good.
That would have been so good.
We should rewrite it.
No, they're like hinting at like there's a monster eating animals, and then like people are getting eaten by animals, and then at the end you find out it's like more vampires, but they're the bad ones. They got red eyes.
But we're totally forgetting the baseball scene.
I know, this leads to the baseball scene.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, there's the red-eyed ones that are eating people. Bella goes and visits Edward's family, and it's really awkward, and they're making her food. And
then the one girl, Nikki Reed, gets really mad.
She's so mad.
She's so mad. We don't really know why she's mad.
She's just so mad.
She's just pissed. But I think it explains in the book why she's mad, but in the movie it just seems out of context.
I think they do explain it in the later movies. But honestly, I'm with her though, because it's like, what are you doing, Edward? Yeah. You're 100 years old and you're dating a 16-year-old.
I mean, there's so many levels here that make it so toxic.
Yeah. It's like, Edward, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You weirdo.
Yeah, it is super weird.
Like you could have dated me. But instead, you're dating...
You wanted to date Edward?
Not me, like Nikki Reed.
You just want to clarify that?
Yeah. I would date Robert Pattinson. He's Batman.
He's Batman.
So then the baseball scene happens. They can only play baseball when it's like
Storming.
because
Thunder.
they hit the ball so hard that it goes.
What was that noise again? Well, it doesn't make sense why they invited her to that specific event.
They're like, hey, be the umpire, but like we're moving at supersonic speeds. And I love the scene where the mom is like, Edward's fast, and you just see him running. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would she be there? And then
I don't know, but that scene is iconic.
Yeah, and the Muse song plays.
Although I think I saw a picture of it on Instagram of that scene without the grayscale, and it just looks weird. It looks like they look like weirdos. Like what they're wearing and everything, it just doesn't fit. Doesn't work.
They kind of look like weirdos regardless.
True.
So then, like, these bad vampires show up. One of them is Victoria, and then the other two. And James.
And Laurent.
Yeah.
See, we know more than we think.
Yeah, you're right. So it's Victoria, James, and Laurent, right?
Yes.
And they're like, hey, we heard you playing baseball out here. Like, literally, they're just
right.
like, we like playing baseball
also,
too.
the thing that I don't understand is they walk up, they have full conversation for like a while where they're all talking and conversing. And she's standing right there and they don't notice that she is a human. But the second she walked into the Cullens house, they're like, oh, humans here. Like they could smell her right away. So how come sometimes they can smell her right away and sometimes they don't smell her at all?
Yeah, it's because the wind, Cassie.
Okay.
The wind hit her
wind.
just right.
I should have known. It was the
she
wind.
put on the hat. Remember, he's like, put on the hat.
Yeah, the hat.
And she stood behind him. Yeah, that's...
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like they're like, hey, we're going to play some baseball, which I would have really liked to see. Yeah. I would have liked to see them play some baseball.
Yeah.
But instead they got mad because there's a human there.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, she wouldn't have known that we were vampires until you just came out and said it, you dumb
Yeah.
How about that?
You really feel like you nailed something there, don't you?
How about that?
You really feel like you're like, oh, I really got him there. I really got the plot hole there.
It's so confusing because in the later movies, there's like a whole like vampire
uprising,
like a mafia, like an Illuminati of vampires, right? And there's like very strict rules, like you cannot, like, if you kill people, you have to do it very carefully, quietly. You can't let anyone know that vampires exist. And yeah, the Cullens did tell Bella that they were vampires, but like James going after Bella the way he did, because James ends up wanting to eat Bella really badly because he smelt her once. And apparently Bella's just got that sweet, sweet blood that everyone wants.
Obviously.
So then like James turns it into like some sort of weird game, but it's like, what, isn't that breaking the code as well?
No, because if they knew, they would have killed her anyway because she knew.
Fair enough.
Cool.
So then they like run away because they're like, hey, back up, this is ours. And then Edward's like, oh, they're going to come after you, Bella. We got to get you out of here. So Bella is like a total bitch to her dad. Yeah,
who, again, is the least controversial in this movie.
I love Charlie, dude.
He's the best one in this movie, and everyone else is like, what is happening?
There's a great scene with Charlie where, like, they're about to go to prom or whatever, and, like, Charlie's like, oh, okay, and he, like, whoosh, like, with his gun. So now, like, they're on the run, and, like, Laurent shows up at the Cullens' place and is like, hey,
James is gonna kill her.
And he's like, I want no part in this. For some reason.
For some reason, he's decided he doesn't want anything to do with it.
Can I bring it back a minute? Bella's a bitch throughout this whole movie. To everybody.
To everybody. She's so toxic.
To everybody.
To these friends who completely just, like, welcomed her. Like, no questions asked. They just were like, you're here. We love you. We want to hang out with you. We want to be friends with you. She's a total bitch. There's that scene where they like go dress shopping.
Yeah, and that Paramore song.
And she's like sitting in the corner just reading a book, and they're like, "You're really not into this, are you?" And she's like, "I just want to go to the bookstore.
Yeah.
I just want to read. I just want to go to the bookstore." And then she ditches them for Robert Pattinson. She's such a bitch.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing. And she continuously is like rude to her friends. And then she's rude to her dad. Like a million
Who's like
times.
been like totally nice to her, got her a car.
The nicest.
He gave her a room. He's a little awkward, but like who isn't?
Thing.
Yeah, so she's just horrible, and she like ends up going back to her dad's after James is and like pretends that she's so upset at Edward that she needs to go back to Arizona. And
then just leaves. And he just lets her? Like she's gonna drive from Washington to Arizona just on a whim in the middle of the night.
That's like a 16-hour drive.
See.
Look it up.
Let me look it up. It's a 24-hour drive.
Jesus.
And that, I'm assuming, is without stops.
Right.
So how does she get there so quickly?
They never really say how long it takes, right?
Well, and I guess they're driving, the vampires.
Yeah, they don't have to stop. They could stay awake forever.
Yeah, but she has to pee at some point. I don't know, that seems weird.
They do check into a hotel at some point, so.
Oh, yeah. But I think that was...
in Arizona.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and then, like, we find out that Bella was in ballet.
Yep.
Like,
ballet dancer.
It's never mentioned.
Somehow they find a video of her at the ballet studio.
Yeah. So then they end up at a ballet studio. It's her and James. Because James threatens to kill her mom. But her mom's not actually there.
No, he just conveniently found a video of her mom.
And then one of the worst fight scenes I've ever seen in cinema happens.
Are you kidding me? That is the best best fight scene. when Alice pulls the head off. It's so good. That is my favorite scene.
Yeah, this movie really falls apart.
Oh, and then when he sucks the blood out of her arm, and it's like so weird.
Yeah, James bites her, but Edward pulls him off. And then she has a bite mark, so she's starting to transform into a vampire.
A vampire.
And Carlisle, as I like.
Oh, and the best scene of when one of Edward yells, "Carlisle!" Carlisle! Like a million times.
Yeah, because he's like, what do I do? What do I do? What are my options? He's like, you either let her transform or you suck the blood out. And
yeah, he should have just let her transform in that scene.
She wants so bad.
And then the whole thing would have been over.
Yeah, because ultimately in the later movie, she turns into a vampire. So if he just like did it, but they just started dating. He didn't know, like they got to give it a little time,
A little time, yeah.
At least 6 months.
I don't know. How do you break up with a vampire?
They haven't even done some like over the genes stuff.
How do you break up with a vampire though? Like, does he then kill you because now you know his secret?
That's the whole thing. Like, the power dynamics there are just...
Yeah, it's such a toxic relationship.
It's very toxic.
You really should ignore it, though, so that you can watch the movie. Because it's a great movie.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, toxicity levels. How toxic would you rate this movie?
So this movie, I would say... Okay, so out of a 1 to 10, I'd give it a 8.5 on the toxic levels.
Oh, toxic levels? Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's there's the power dynamic, there's the I can't.
I would give it a 7 on the toxic scale.
Really?
Because it's still very toxic.
Yes.
But I'd say they're equally toxic, so that kind of cancels it out a little bit. Because they're both pretty toxic people.
Yeah.
So it cancels it out.
I feel like that enhances it.
No, because then it's like, well, if they're toxic to each other, it's just sort of how it is. There's no real victim. when they're toxic to each other like that.
Sure.
Bella is kind of the victim, though.
Yeah. Because he's like 109 years old and she's 16, 17.
Yeah. So, okay, that raises it, I guess.
Yeah.
A 10 out of 10 toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raises my toxicity level for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Then the movie ends.
Yeah.
With them dancing, but then it ends with Victoria
Walking down the stairs.
She's staring at them and
She
like
comes
leaves.
back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Victoria,
Yeah.
they're setting up a sequel.
So who would you say looked the worst in this movie?
Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah. I would say, yeah, Jacob, probably. Alice's hair is pretty bad, though.
I liked Alice's hair though.
Did you?
Yeah.
And Bella's hair was pretty bad. Who would you say looked the most like a vampire?
Yeah, Carlisle.
Carlisle.
We've decided.
Oh, yeah, we've already
decided.
talked about that.
Chemistries.
Chemistry.
How's their chemistry?
Okay, so their chemistry fluctuates in this movie for me, I feel like. I would say that they're at a 4 in this movie. Chemistry levels.
I don't know how to rate it because their chemistry is so bizarre.
It is so bizarre because they like, it's like all about like, I don't know, like they like make weird.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, I almost like buy that they're both just like awkward together and like weird as
Yeah.
Like I almost like buy it.
No, I gave it a 4.
You know, I almost buy it. I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
I almost buy it. What about like there's some other people in this, right? Like there's that one kid that's like trying to date Bella.
Oh, yeah.
The one that
There's 2 different ones that are trying to date Bella.
Well, there's that one kid that's like, so you and Edward Cullen. I don't like it.
Yeah.
He seemed like the most normal actor out of all of them. Like he seemed like he was giving a normal performance.
Yep.
And not just like
How dare you? I think Anna Kendrick was the best
yeah, I don't know.
in this whole movie. She's the best.
And then the other friend who
The girl with the glasses, I like her a lot.
dude, every time it shows the friends, I was just like, man,
Yeah.
you should go hang out with
They're
them.
just like super fun, like
Because there's that one scene where the one kid is like, hey, Bella, it's a worm.
Bella, look. It's a worm. It's a worm.
that is the best scene.
It's too good.
It is good.
I think we should rank all the movies. Right now, obviously, this is
the
number
only one, yeah.
This is the best one so far.
So far, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this movie?
In comparison to what? Like, what am I ranking?
Just as a
Just
movie.
as a movie?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 6.
I'd give it a 4.
That's low.
I'll give it a 5 because the aesthetic and the music.
Yeah.
No, that's why it deserves a 4. Everything else is garbage.
They tried really hard, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephanie Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer.
That's it. That's the show.
That's all we got for you. You say bye, Ricky?